we're going to set a little light goal for this week. You see Dorian's white-ass background every single week. We're going to set a light goal. We get 30 likes this week on this specific podcast video before we do our next podcast. 30 people hit that like button. Dorian will have a background next week. He said he would do it, so let's put the pressure on him. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. We weren't here last week, but we're here this week to preview this weekend's fight card, UFC 281, Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya versus Alex, the Poatan Perira. It's going to be a banger of a card. I am Matt Anderson. On the other side of your screen is D Rose. How you been over the past 2 weeks, man? I guess, getting over some sickness and stuff, but how you been?
Yeah, so been kind of rough the last couple of weeks. Not gonna lie. So ended up having a dentist appointment. Come to find out, I got a gum infection that I had to get taken care of, and it's actually is early stages of it's called periodontal disease. Not going to get into it or anything, but then ended up getting the flu and COVID. So at the same damn time in my future voice, and yeah, I was pretty fucked up for a little bit, but dude, feeling good now. We're 2 weeks out, and got the card coming up this weekend, dude. So I'm fired up for this one.
Yeah, dude.
Let's go.
I'm surprised you don't have your Izzy shirt on, man, or are you hiding it under there? all right. He don't want to spill the beans yet. But in today's video, I'm just going to give you a few key points from this past weekend's fight card, because truly that shit was ass and we all know it. And we are going to give you a little bit of news and then jump forward to this weekend's fight card, UFC 281. We're going to give you, we're going to run down every fight on the card. We're going to give you our picks and our opinions for each one of those fights. And then I'm going to put this pick champ up on the line. It wasn't up on the line last week, but I got to be honest, we probably would have picked all the same fighters, like just because of like how it was going. But that's the rundown in today's show. If you want to support this channel, give a thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are not, and comments are always appreciated down below. Let's get it popping down there. So let's get into the show, dude. Google says UFC Fight Night Mitchell versus Evloev still, because that's how much no one gives a fuck about this card. But Marina Rodriguez versus Amanda Lemos was the main event. So let's if I can talk about that for just a second. Got to be honest, I thought Marina Rodriguez is probably going to finish her late or win by decision, because Amanda Lemos does tend to get tired, or she was tired of shit against Overkill Hill, Angie Overkill Hill, and then that's just how I expected that to go. Instead, Amanda Lemos gets her out of there early round 2, flying knee, and put some pressure on her there. I really didn't see that coming, but if she was to win, that's how she was going to win. Thoughts, takeaways from the main event from this past weekend?
Yeah, I thought going into it that because since we weren't here last week, I did think that Marina Rodriguez was going to win by decision. The only reason why I thought that was because Rodriguez has been there in these 5-round fights. How many main events has she had at this point now? And she's put on some good performances in all those fights, against Mackenzie Dern and Michelle Watterson. She's put on some good performances. And I thought that Lemos was always going to be dangerous. And I'm a pretty big Amanda Lemos fan. But I did think that Rodriguez was going to win, but I thought the biggest thing that Lemos did that was in her favor was kind of slow down the fight a little bit, because she can get a little bit wild, because she knows she has the power to be able to put any of those chicks down in the 115 division. So I thought that she was a little bit more measured, and I thought that Rodriguez, I actually thought it kind of caught her by surprise, and she kind of got a little bit more antsy, was pushing on the gas. And I thought the first 2 rounds were close, but I thought it was 1-1 going into that third. And when Rodriguez looked like she was getting a little bit frustrated after she had gotten taken down in the second round, went to step in, and that's when Lemos hit her with that big right hand. And at first, when Lemos hit her, it didn't look like she was hurt that bad. But you could see when Rodriguez backed up, because I actually went back and watched it a couple of times, because I did tell you initially I thought the stoppage was a little early. But after going back and watching it, Rodriguez was, after she got hit with that first big right hand, she was not there at all. And when Lemos had her backed up against the fence and threw that flurry against her, she wasn't even looking at Lemos at that point. So I could absolutely see where Jason Herzog was coming from. Going back and watching it the second time, I did think it was a rightful stoppage, and it was an awesome win for Amanda Lemos. Good fight overall, and that chick, she's going to be a problem for anybody with that type of power at 115.
Indeed. So you answered my second question there was, do you think it's going to be an early stoppage? Because I guess that's the only other takeaway from this fucking fight, dude. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Who all was really watching this shit? I don't know, dude.
Some degenerates who have some bets on it. So,
yeah, dude.
In case being me.
So moving on down, or I guess any other takeaway from that fight, man? Are you ready to jump into the co-main?
We could jump into the co-main.
All right. So co-main, Neil Magny taking on Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez. I was wrong on this one too, man. I had D-Rod by decision. That's how D-Rod fights goes. He either wins or loses by split decision. So I had a bet at plus 1,100 D-Rod by fucking split decision. I think it maybe had like $5 on that because that's how D-Rod tends to win, dude. I'm like, here it comes again. Like I fucking made that Aljo via fucking split decision win over fucking Peter Yan. I felt it coming again, dude, because it happened in his fucking last fight. I just didn't make that bet in the last fight because I just had him straight up in the last fight. But yeah, Neil Magny gets the sub round 3, dude. Yeah, round 3 sub. Kind of surprising. You said you had some strong feelings about this, so I'm gonna let you take it away, dude. How did this fight go?
So in my opinion, the way the fight was kind of playing out, I did think that Neil Magny was going to be a little bit of a problem for D-Rod. You know, Neil Magny's, of course, a UFC vet, been rocking for a long time, and D-Rod hasn't really faced anybody to the skill of Neil Magny, especially with the cardio and the wrestling, which is D-Rod not so much the wrestling, but he does have good cardio. But when someone can keep that same pace as him, or even keep a higher pace, I knew it was going to be a little bit of a problem for him. But I did think that Neil Magny had some good moments there in the first round, at the end of the first round, because D-Rod was landing some big punches early, but he ended up using his wrestling, getting D-Rod down and kind of wore him a little bit. And then there in the second round, I thought that D-Rod was able to keep it on his feet for the most part. And I thought that he was able to really fight back. And I thought he actually stole the second round there at the end. He ended up hitting Neil Magny with some big shots there, kind of backed him up. And then as soon as the third round started, D-Rod did look like he was ready to go. He knew that he was going to have to win that round to win the fight. And when he came out, he ended up hitting Neil Magny with a big right hand. And I'm not going to say Neil Magny was on the ropes to being finished, but he was definitely hurt. And he went in for a sloppy shot. Neil Magny went in for a sloppy shot on D-Rod. And D-Rod was able to get in the top position and was sitting in his guard. And there was 4 minutes left in the round when he ended up getting the top position. And he was able to get off a little bit of ground and pound. But I was just so surprised that he was getting off some ground and pound, never tried to improve the position or anything. He just got up and let Neil Magny back into the fight. He literally just stood up and just kind of stepped back. And I was surprised. I believe it was Herb Dean that was reffing. And when he went to, D-Rod stood up and he went to kind of punch Neil Magny as he was coming up, because he never initiated for him to get up. They let Neil Magny stand up immediately. But I thought that was D-Rod's problem, was you had the position. Why did you give it up? And once he ended up giving up that position, Neil Magny just went back to using the wrestling, slammed him down a couple times. D-Rod got tired, gave up his neck, and that's how he was able to get that Darce choke in, man. I was just really disappointed in D-Rod having the position and letting it go.
Yeah, man, I kind of feel the same. If that would have went to decision, dude, my D-Rod via split decision wouldn't have been a bad bet at plus 1,100, you know, because
dude, yeah, no, because it was a really close fight. It was a close fight.
How his fights go. It's like he'll lose one round clearly. One round will be close, and then he'll like rock someone like in the other round. And it's like, what did you think in this one round, dude? And that's how D-Rod fights go, dude. D-Rod via split decision, in my opinion, is never a bad bet. Yeah. So I guess other takeaway from this fight, there is some betting scandals on the Derek Minner versus Shailin Nuerdanbieke fight. Any thoughts on that, dude? I know personally, now I wish I would have fucking knew, because I would have fucking hit that, but all my bets had fucking over 1.5 or just under 2.5. So I mean, if I would have had some inside information, I for sure would have took that round one dub. Your thoughts on that, dude?
Man, I think it's the thing that I think that's the most interesting about it is, and we're going to have to, kind of see how the investigation plays out, because there's still news to be reported on it. But we were just talking about, hey, is it just the fighters that are prohibited from betting, or is it the coaches as well? Case in being, we had mentioned when we had talked about this initially, when they banned betting, James Krause. James Krause is a guy who is a notorious, I guess a guy that gives gambling advice, a gambling advisor, I guess you can call him. He has his own he has his own Reddit channel. He has his own YouTube channel, and where he gives his opinion about betting lines and things of that nature. Derek Minner is a fighter of James Krause's, and come to find out that James Krause, I believe in the post that I sent you, he was listed as one of the people that were under investigation because he is a noted gambling advisor. And I'm really going to be interested to see kind of how that plays out, because we were just questioning this a couple of weeks ago as far as, hey, we know the fighters, but what about the what about the coaches? And it looks like for right now, man, the coaches are going to be held to the fire just as much as the fighters are, man.
Dude, the question that I had was, could he bet on any fight that he wasn't involved in? That doesn't even fucking matter here. He was the coach of the fighter. Like, he shouldn't be involved at all. But I understand if he can't bet on that fight, but it's kind of fucked that if he has information to give to a specific amount of people for $50 a month on his fighters, like, that's kind of fucked. Yeah, it's like that. That's like kind of like insider trading shit in the fucking stock market, like how that shit works, dude. Is James Krause gonna go to fucking jail for this shit? That would be nuts, dude. If over that, dude, that would be crazy, because even though he didn't bet, did he let people know, but it wasn't out there in the public? I don't know if that's illegal. I'm not a fucking advisor or any shit like that, like that would be nuts though, dude. Hopefully nothing bad happens to old Coach Krause over there. I watch his YouTube channel, but as I said before, you will not catch me paying $50 a month to do anything. like what? Hell
yeah,
no, bro.
well, and especially because he used to, and we don't have to beat on this forever, but I listen to the John Anik and Kenny Florian podcast, and James Krause was a notorious guest on there, and man, he would give a couple lines that weren't even that great, or were like completely obvious, that were like dudes that were like minus 250 or something like that. Like, okay, yes, you're going to bet the heavy favorite. Wow, that is just insight that I could never have seen before.
You're gonna be backing your guy? No way. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not like his gambling advice is that great to even charge $50 for. So if someone's charging $50 for that, yeah, I've heard some of his analysis before he had the Reddit channel. You ain't paying for much, and I love James Krause, but you ain't paying for much. Let me tell you that.
Yeah. I guess any other takeaway from the fucking main card, or you want to jump to the only other takeaway on this card as a whole was we'll talk about.
I would say truthfully, I didn't really think there was too much more to.
So
I mean, it was weird that the fighters missed weight, but other than that,
a whole bunch of five fighters missed the weight. No more undefeated.
It was a record number.
Yeah, no more undefeated. Mark O'Madsen, dude. Grant Dawson takes his undefeated streak. But Grant Dawson missed weight, dude. So kind of odd there. The only other takeaway that I wanted to know on this card was Poatan and Viana with the fucking hands knuckled old Yu Frey up with the quickness, like hit her with about 4 hooks in a row, and then she just was out in a few seconds. Like, I know you at least saw the highlight, yeah?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, honestly, it wasn't much. The fight was only
Yeah.
50 seconds long, so it's not like there was much to it to begin with. But I
Yeah.
was actually surprised to see Polyana Viana because she was one of her last fight, right? That
Against
ended up laying
Tabitha
on her
Reed, she did
back.
that. Yep.
Yeah, she just laid on her back and was like doing the meme as if someone broke into a Brazilian jiu-jitsu artist's house and they're just fucking laying on their back like this the whole time, like she's just relaxing. So
Yeah, man.
and good to see her actually apply some aggression this time. And that was a pretty sick combo. And it didn't look like she had hurt Jenny Fry initially, but then she just followed up, and it was like Jenny Fry's hands could not get up fast enough, and she just hit her with about 5 or 6 punches, and then she hit the ground, hit her with a couple more follow up shots, and she was out like a light, dude. So
Yeah,
that was
man.
a good bounce back performance.
Yeah, man, for sure. Like I was happy that she won, but shit on literally all my bets because I had Polyana Viana by submission in like I won't say everything, but I had it in a few, so that kind of ruined quite a bit of them as well. Any other takeaway from this whole card, man?
Nah, man. We can I think we can move on to the news.
All right, cool. So let me find our news for the past 2 weeks now, dude, because once again we did not film last week. So let me go down for just
Your boy
a
was down and out for a little bit, so I was it was kind of like a much needed break. I was off work for a long time too, so yeah, it was it was very weird to kind of not have everything in order, but good to have a little bit of structure this week.
Yeah, man. All right, so let's just run down this. I believe from the last time that I believe we talked about it, we got Da Un Jung taking on Brown Bear Devin Clark, dude. Thoughts on that right away?
Da Un Jung didn't he just no, he fought Dustin Jacoby recently. Right. Yeah. That's who it was. That's a pretty decent fight and a good bounce back fight for Da Un Jung.
I guess Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon is official now. I guess it wasn't the last time we talked. It was just kind of in the talks, but it is official now. So I guess we did talk about that. Brandon Royval versus Amir Albazi.
Yeah.
Ilya Taporia, Bryce Mitchell, is the actual fight for for fucking this upcoming I guess in a few weeks now. Here we go. I know we for sure didn't talk about this. Raul Rosas Jr. Gets the replacement for the other contender series fight that fell out. Bo Nickel, the other star of the season. Jesus, everything all right in the background, man?
I was like, Lord knows it's World War III going on back here again. Goodness gracious.
But
I can tell she's laughing or crying.
Fighting Jay Perrin. Immediate thoughts on that fight? 10-6 versus 6-0. Oh, I guess he muted. Yeah, I was like,
yeah, trying to as much as I can. But Raul Rosas, he's jumping in there pretty quick. I think I'm just more surprised that to hear that Bo Nickel didn't want to take the fight because it wasn't going to be on the pay-per-view. But dude, it's one of the bigger pay-per-views of the year. And if you're on the prelims, you're going to be on TV. So, but I just think Raul Rosas just seen that opportunity and took full advantage of it. So. Yeah, good for him, and he's taking a turnaround pretty quick. So I'm interested to see how he's going to look.
All right, Iwan Kutalaba versus Kennedy Nzechukwu added to November 19th card.
You said who in Nzechukwu?
Iwan Kutalaba.
Oh, Iwan's about to get crushed.
Yeah,
for sure. For sure. If Ryan Spann, which Ryan Spann's pretty decent, but if Ryan Spann crushes him, yeah. If you get a fired up in Nzechukwu, he's definitely a handful.
All right, dude. So Tyson Pedro has a fight against a person that I do not know. Zhang Mingyang added to UFC 284 February 11th. So not sure who the guy he's fighting is. But on that same card, Justin Tafa versus Parker Porter. Immediate thoughts on that fight, dude? Heavyweight big boys, slopping around. Dude, Parker
Yeah,
Porter's underrated. I don't care what anyone says, dude. Like he
yeah,
ain't going away. I mean, unless you're Tom Aspinall, he might go away.
yeah. Now Parker Porter is definitely solid, man. He's not like the most talented guy, but he's just got a good motor because he doesn't have the best physique. But for him not to have that dude, he keeps a good pace, throws a bunch of combos, has good wrestling, and he's relentless. So I actually think this is a pretty tough style matchup for Justin Tafa too, considering that he's almost like this generation's Mark Hunt, big puncher, but not really good wrestling defense, and that's something that Parker Porter could take advantage of.
I would say that's more of like tied to Avasa, but we'll move along. David Onama taking on Jarno Aarons. I don't know who Jarno Aarons is, but that's January 14th. You know who Jarno Aarons is?
Not a clue.
All right. Well, David Onama's got another fight. Thiago Moises versus Guram Kutateladze, January 21st. Thoughts on that? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you couldn't hear me because my AirPod died at the same time that I asked you that question. So our next fight, Thiago Moises taking on Guram Kutateladze, January 21st. Immediate thoughts on that?
Shit. That's what I was asking you, who the person Kutateladze is fighting. I couldn't hear the
Thiago
person.
Moises.
Oh, Thiago Moises. Oh, that's a really good fight. Thiago Moises, he's looked better as of late too. So and Kutateladze, I know he had that loss to Uzmagulov, but Ismagulov's a really good fighter as well. So that's a really good style matchup.
Yeah, Joe Selecki taking on Benoit Saint Denis, February 18th. Immediate thoughts on that?
Is it at 55 for Benoit?
Let me see.
I know when he's been. I know when he took that one fight against.
Lightweight bout.
Okay.
So
okay. Yeah. Because I didn't know if he was one of those ones you jump back and forth. Because I know he had to fight at welterweight. But I was getting ready to say, for him at 55, dude, he's been a handful for a lot of those dudes. His wrestling's a problem. So I'm expecting him to be making some noise in that division as well in the coming years.
So we got Don Shainis taking on Jack Jenkins. I feel like that's an odd names, bro. Do you care at all?
No. I wasn't even familiar with either when you said it.
Dude, there's a lot of people here that I'm clicking that I don't know their name right now. I don't know who they are. Dan Argueta taking on Isaac Dolgarigan. I don't know who that is, dude.
Oh, I have to say, while you're flipping through something, I can actually drop something that we had sent that we haven't actually talked about. Was
go for it.
The news about Askar Askarov asking for his release from the UFC.
Oh, wow.
And the
I didn't even know that.
Did I not send that to you?
I don't think so, dude.
Yeah, I thought I had sent that to you. Yeah, Askar Askarov. Yeah, he had asked for his release from the UFC. I guess there were some issues that they were having. And yeah, I believe that he had requested his release and that the UFC had granted it to him.
Damn, that's wild, dude. I did not know that at all, man. So that's some, that's a little knowledge bomb that I didn't know, dude.
Well, now that you're saying that, you got me questioning whether that was the case or not. But I do remember him actually asking for his release. I'm actually trying to find the message to see if I'm actually trying to see if I can find the message. Right, yeah, to make sure, because now you got me questioning whether it really happened. But I'm pretty sure that he had asked for his release not too long ago.
Oh wow, well, that's interesting. So if you can find that, I'll announce our next fight. Julian Erosa taking on Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres. Immediate thoughts on that?
Alex Caceres and who? Julian
Erosa, Juicy J.
Oh yeah. Shoot, that's pretty good fight. I know Alex Caceres has been a little bit more. He's getting a little bit older, so he doesn't have as much of that wild side to him anymore. But still a fun fighter, and that's a good matchup. Rosa always brings a fight.
All right, someone that I do know, Omar Morales, pretty good dude, is going to be fighting Matus Rebecki. He's in front of a Contender Series background, so I guess that's where he came from, but I'm not sure who Matus Rebecki is. Does that name ring a bell? Lightweight belt?
Not a clue.
All right, yeah. So Tatsuru Taira versus Jesus Aguilar Jesus Aguilar added to February 4th. English and Spanish. That's how it happens. Josh Cooleybow versus Melsik Bagdasarian, February 11th. Jose Johns out. Vince Morales will now fight Miles Johns at November 19th. I thought Vince Morales got cut from the UFC, but I guess not.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. He said Askar says he asked for his UFC release and he received a positive response.
Oh wow, that's kind of wild, dude. I did not know that. Interesting.
Yeah,
That's
found it on MMA Junkie. So I feel good about
interesting, dude. Gerald Mearshart versus Abu Smagomedov, February 18th. Thoughts on that? GM round 3.
GM, I would say just expect the club and sub and probably round 2 or 3 for GM3 there.
All right. Getting to the ones I released closer to this week. Loma Lukbumi taking on Elise Reed. I'm not betting against Loma Lukbumi anymore, dude. Loma Lukbumi via decision is the way I'm going from now on.
I think I'm with you. Yeah, I think I'm with you.
Warley Alves versus Nicholas Balby, January 21st, UFC 283.
I had no idea Warley Alves was still even in the UFC. Not even joking. Had no idea he was in the UFC. He's been finished a couple times now, man. So, and he's getting older too. Good fighter, but he's definitely he's got one round. He's almost like the 170-pound Marlon Moraes. He's got one round in him, and if he ain't getting you out of there, he's done.
All right. Well, I actually sent you this one earlier in the week. Waldo Cortez Acosta of Contender Series fame and just now fought Jared Vandera, going to take on Chase Sherman. Thoughts on that? November 19th, next week, dude.
And that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
The 19th. Yeah, so that's next Saturday because this Saturday is the 12th. So, but yeah, I would say Waldo Cortez. He's staying super active, ain't he? Didn't he just fight like a couple weeks ago or something like that?
Against Jared Vandera.
Right. Yeah. So that's obviously he has been active here lately. The UFC is gonna love him.
Yeah. Jim Miller versus Gabriel Benitez, or Mobley Benitez, as he's usually called. Thoughts on that?
Oh wow! So Mobley's actually moving up to 55. I know he normally fights at 45, so that's pretty interesting. But that's actually a good matchup for Jim Miller, to be honest.
We got the return of the Korean Superboy, Doo-Ho Choi, after a while, dude. He's going to be taking on Kyle Nelson. Excited to see the Korean Superboy back?
Heck yeah, man. No, you actually dropped the bomb on me on that one because I did not know that they announced this fight. I love Doo-Ho Choi. So yeah, he's definitely one of those guys you got to sit around and watch him because he's going to be in a fun fight, win or lose.
He's got some paws on him, man. He's definitely got some paws on him. Any other news topics? Off. Yeah. Any other news topics you want to talk about before we start talking about this weekend, dude?
I would say the one I really had was the Askar one. So
yeah, dude, that's actually kind of crazy to me, to be honest. I did not know about the whole Askar thing.
I guess we could just wait on more of what comes out, I guess. But I'm just curious as to what happened. It was like the Royval fight fell off.
Why would you not want to be in the UFC? Where else would you rather fight at? Because you don't ask for a release if you're not going to fight anymore. Like you would just retire.
Yeah. So well, I mean, he could probably fight for any of the other organizations.
But why would he fight if he wouldn't want to fight for the UFC? I don't really understand that.
I think there's more to fighters fighting in the UFC. You know what I mean? I mean, he's fought a lot of the top guys in the division and stuff already. And if he feels like they're grimy enough businessmen, man, I could definitely understand if he wanted to maybe go back and fight in Russia or fighting Ryzen, won championship. So, a lot of those types of organizations take care of the smaller weight classes a little bit better. So look at Demetrius Johnson, man. He ended up asking for his release. He ended up getting traded to one championship, and he loves it over there, man. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was anything like that, just bad business deals.
Yeah, man. All right. So anything else before we start talking about this weekend? Are you ready to get into it?
Let's get into it.
All right, so I'm gonna give you guys the fights top to bottom, and then we're gonna start breaking them down bottom to top, finishing out at the last fight of the night, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. So starting off, as I said, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Or actually, let me do this: the last style bender, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Poatan Pereira. Carla, the Cookie Monster Esparza, taking on Magnum Zhang Lee in our co-main event. Dustin, the Diamond Poirier, taking on Iron Michael Chandler in our featured or people's main event. You know, whatever you want to say. Probably the most interesting, most excited for me personally. Frankie, the Answer Edgar versus Chris El Guapo Gutierrez, dude. I don't know how I'm remembering all of these off the top of my head because I got Google pulled up here and it don't tell me names, dude. Dan, the Hangman Hooker versus Claudio. What is it? The Peruvian I've lost it, dude. I know he's the Peruvian something Poyes, dude. I had them all but that one. Sorry, Claudio Poyes. I had all y'all's nicknames but yours, dude. So that is the main card, dude. Prelims is going to be Brad Riddell taking on Renato Moicano. Dominic Reyes taking on Superman Ryan Spann. Aaron Blanchfield taking on Meatball Molly McCann. Oh, tough fight, dude. I got to be honest. And Andre Petroski taking on Wellington Turman. Early prelims, dude. The main event of the early prelims, Matt Fravola, the steamroller, taking on the bulldozer, Ottoman Azatar. So we got a steamroller versus a bulldozer in this fucking fight, dude. What the fuck are we doing? Dude, and
an unstoppable force versus an immovable object.
Dude, and this I am sure of. I think it's the wrong guy all the time. This is the guy that got kicked out of the UFC for trying to sneak potatoes into Fight Island. Potatoes for his weight cut. He was trying to cheat on his weight cut and get potatoes and was trying to sneak potatoes into Fight Island. At least that's the story that's out there. That's this guy. And am I correct? I'm 98% sure this time.
Yeah. That's the only reason why I remember his name too, is because that story.
Yeah, Carolina Kowalkiewicz, who I thought retired in her last or after her last fight, but I guess not, taking on La Mavada, or translated to the villain or the bad girl, Silvana Gomez Juarez. Mike Trizano taking on Choi Seung-Woo, Julio Arce taking on Montel Jackson. Carlos Ulberg taking on Nikolai Negumereanu opens the fight of the early prelims, dude. So we got a hell of a card, dude, and we're kind of starting out with a banker. So we'll start right there. I'm gonna let Dorian break this down because I gotta be honest, dude. I gotta go pee real quick. So I'll be right back, and I'm gonna let you start telling people what's up with this fight.
Nice. So I think this fight's going to be as Matt just said, is going to be a great opener to the card. And I think that, for Nikolai, I think for him in his last few fights, he has been tested a little bit more. But in his Ior Patera fight, in his last fight, Ior Patera was able to land some big shots on him there in the first round. But one thing I give Nikolai Negumereanu is that dude, he's not going to stop at all. He's a dog. He can take a shot. That dude's got a beard on him. And he can absolutely take a shot, come back, and deliver the shots back to you, man. So Ior Patera really got worn down in that fight against Nikolai Negumereanu. And once Nikolai got him in the clinch, it was all but over. So I think for Carlos Ulberg, he hasn't really faced anybody in the UFC that's got that nasty dog in him just yet. He has fought a couple good fighters. He's fought Kennedy and Nzechukwu, Tafon and Chukwi. I believe William Knight as well. So he's got a pretty decent UFC resume as so far. And I think for Carlos Ulberg in his last fight against Nchukwi, really was able to get himself calm, measured. His hands are fast as lightning. Carlos Ulberg's is. And so I think that the big thing for Ulberg, he's going to have to jab and be a little bit more reserved in his gas tank, not willing to throw combos like he did against Nzechukwu and try to get him out of there early, because he ended up gassing himself out in the Nzechukwu fight, where I think in his last fight, he really showed against Nchukwi, he really showed a lot more of a calm, measured approach and was still able to land a knockout blow. So if you're asking me who I think is going to win, I'll just give it to you right away. I think Carlos Ulberg is able to get it done. Negumereanu he's tough, he's gritty, he's a dog. He's going to be in your face the whole time. But I do think as far as the more technical striker, it's definitely going to be Ulberg. He's definitely going to be the more technical striker. I think as long as he doesn't blow his wad in the first round, pretty much, I think it's his fight to lose.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I heard you the whole time. So I was actually listening even about the whole beard that I heard that, believe it or not. So I kind of feel the same, dude. I don't think Carlos Ulberg will finish Negumereanu, although he might. As you said, he does have a chin. I believe a better chin than Tafon the Don Chukwi, because as you said, dude, the jabs, I don't know if it was like a little jab hook that he fucking knocked him out with like last time, or like fucking hurt him with last time, or in his like last fight. It was like some kind of like little check hook jab. So if he can hurt him, dude, that would be great. But I think either way, as you said, Carlos Ulberg should get the dub if he doesn't blow his wad, dude. But, if you are feeling confident, Negumereanu round 3 is always kind of live, dude. I wouldn't count that out. But me personally, I got to rock Carlos Ulberg as well, dude. Take any other takeaway from that fight before we move up the card?
Just surprised that it's actually kicking off the prelims. I figured that would either be on like the TV portion of the prelims, not the early prelims, but a good matchup all the same.
Yeah, man. Julio Arce, or how about this? Pull up your odds, dude. You like fucking pull up your odds and I'll announce the fight. So as I announce them, you can tell me the odds and then if I can break it down for you. And then we'll make our picks. How about that? That way it'll just make it easier. We can help each other.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm getting them pulled up now.
All right. Yeah. So I should do this. The Black Jaguar, Carlos Ulberg, and Nikolai Negumereanu. That is their nickname. So you got odds for us?
Yeah. So for FanDuel, Nikolai Negumereanu is coming in at a plus 104 underdog. So just a slight underdog. And Carlos Ulberg is the favorite as of right now at minus 132.
Yeah. So I know we just now started, but before we move along, dude, the odds for this whole card, dude, super fucking close, right? Like they're like within like plus 100, plus 150. You don't see much. You see maybe like 1 or 2 fights over plus or minus 200. Not much outside of that. So moving on, Julio Arce is going to be taking on Montel Quick Jackson. Give me the odds and can you break down this one for me?
Yeah, man. So Montel Jackson is, according to FanDuel right now, closing in at a minus 225 favorite. And you got Julio Arce coming in at plus 172. And I do think that's about right. I think Arce, he is a little bit dangerous. He's got good striking. He's got some good submissions, and he is gritty, but he is known to get hit and get put out of there. And I do think that Montel Jackson, he's a couple years younger than him. I think he's got like a 1-inch reach advantage on him, if I'm remember correctly. So I do think that Montel Jackson, he's explosive, and he's got good power. He's finished Brian Kelleher in his career. The only guys that he's really lost to are like guys like Mario Batista, guys who have kind of been able to keep that pace and put pressure on him and good wrestling. Don't think Julio Arce has that. So I think Montel Jackson kind of sitting about right at a minus 225 favorite. I think he gets the job done.
The thing is, I think Julio Arce does have that. I don't think he's as good as Batista, though. That's the thing. I'm glad you point out one thing. Julio Arce does have good submissions, and fucking Montel Jackson is known to get submitted when he loses. That's pretty much like the only way that he loses is by sub. But one thing that does stand out to me is Montel Jackson's takedown defense is really fucking good. So I don't know if Julio Arce can get him down. And as you noted, Montel Jackson does have a shitload of power for being at 135. I'm riding with you here again, dude. Gun to my head, I'd say Montel Jackson, but overall, I would say maybe look at the under if it's fucking 2.5, because Montel Jackson by knockout or Julio Arce by sub are definitely both live to happen. Super close fight. It's as you said, pretty close. Plus like one something either way. So close fight overall. I'm also going to ride with you, Montel Jackson, but either one could happen. What's the over under on that?
No, that's actually a good question. I don't know if hey, we actually do have props early on, and which is actually surprising to me because usually about this time, we're always like, where are the props at? But it's a pay-per-view, so
but we have been
looking
filming
like right
on
now.
Tuesday nights recently. So, Wednesday night here, special night. It's actually my birthday. I ain't even say nothing. Today's my fucking 30th birthday, dude. What the hell? I'm old as shit today.
Let's go to the next decade. But right now, according to FanDuel, the over is actually minus 176 for 2.5, and under 2.5 is plus 138 right now. So I actually am I'm in agreement with you there. There is some money to be made there on that under.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else on that one?
No, we can keep it moving.
All right. The Lone Wolf, Mike Trizano taking on Sting, Seung-Woo Choi. Give me the odds on that one and break it down for me.
Looks like Seung-Woo Choi is actually right now, according to FanDuel, minus 178, and Michael Trizano is coming back at a plus 138. And to me, both fighters have had their ups and downs. Michael Trizano, he was one of the winners of the Ultimate Fighter a couple of years ago. He won on the Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic season, I believe. I do remember him being on there, and he was a good 55er. He has moved down to 45, but it seems like I don't know. He's taken a few more lumps at 45, but right now he's a little bit more willing to brawl than he was early on in his Ultimate Fighter career. He was a little bit more wrestling based. The reason why I struggle with this fight is because Trizano has been getting knocked out a lot as of late, and he's lost 3 out of his last 4. So that is a little bit troubling. Seung-Woo Choi, on the other hand, he's one that can absolutely crack. I believe that he knocked out Julian Erosa just as we're speaking to him. Julian Erosa got kind of a little bit reckless with him and got caught in the pocket, and Seung-Woo Choi put him out of there. Michael Trizano, he can get hit, man, and if he gets hit a couple of times, I think he can definitely be looking up at the lights. But man, I'm not gonna lie. I as far as the picks and everything, I don't know if I want to maybe put that up against it just yet. But to me, I think if Trizano fights right and fights smart, Seung-Woo Choi doesn't have the best wrestling defense, and I think that Trizano does have good wrestling, and I think there's some money to be made here on Trizano, man. So at that plus 138, I definitely might put a little parlay on that as we speak. So yeah, give me Michael Trizano. I think he went by decision.
Like as you were talking, I was like, he's gonna go Choi. Here he goes. We're gonna have our first different pick of the day. But he went Trizano at the end, and I'm glad you pointed that out because Choi doesn't have the best takedown defense. But dude, Mike Trizano tends to be down the bang too much, and I think if he downs the bang, he might get put out. If he comes to wrestle, he should win this fight, and I think the path to victory is there for Mike Trizano to win by wrestling Choi here. But if he is too game, dude, and he's just down to throw, which he's known to do, dude, Mike Trizano is game with that. Is he the one that has the American flag cowboy hat? Like you fucking come out with that on, dude. You're fucking coming to throw down. I don't care who you are, dude. So fucking I am gonna rock Mike Trizano here as well. So it looks like we're not picking too different. Anything else on that fight?
No, I think that's about good on that one. But that's also, again, really good matchmaking here by the UFC.
Indeed. So moving on up, Karolina Kowalkiewicz taking on La Mavada Silvana Gomez Juarez. Both 37-year-olds. Give me the odds here.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised that, as you said, Karolina's still fighting the UFC. Looks like it's so close to even money, but Karolina is a slight favorite at minus 120, and Silvana Gomez Juarez has a turnaround at minus 104 right now, according to FanDuel. So it's a close fight here between the two. Karolina did look pretty decent in her last fight against Felice Herrig. I think right against Felice Herrig. But honestly, and it sounds crazy, but that's like the type of confidence booster that you kind of need. And honestly, I can't. As far as Juarez, I don't know if I can just immediately back her, man. So I think if you're asking me, gun to my head, yeah, I'm going Carolina.
All right, I think Carolina's gonna get knuckled up, dude. Silvana Gomez, she's got some paws on her, dude. Like, I mean, she's lost a few times against people that can pressure her and good. I mean, fucking Loopy threw her all over the octagon, but Loopy Godinez is a great wrestler, you know. So I don't really count too much in that, but in her fucking last fight, who did she drop? Was it like Vanessa Demopoulos or something like that? She fucking sat her down, dude, and she's pretty young, even though, or not her last fight, the fight before that, she dropped her earlier and then got armbarred. So and then she knuckled up Na Liang in her last fight. I'm going Silvana Gomez, dude. I think once she gets hit a few times, dude, she tends to be like, oh fuck, I don't want to do this. In her last fight, I'm not sure, in her like last fight, when she who is she fighting last? When she got her like eye hurt, and like the whole time she was like in the corner, like fucking covering her eye up. She didn't want to be there. And I believe she's halfway out at this point. That's what I'm saying.
Dude, do you not realize how much damage she actually took in that? Like, dude, her whole orbital is fucked. What do you mean quit? Yeah. Like, yeah, her orbital is fucked, dude. Yeah, I'd want to get out of there too.
I think she's gonna get put out, dude. I'm going Silvana Gomez Juarez in our first different pick of the day. So going with women's flyweights as our first different pick of the day, dude. How confident are you in it, dude?
I'm not.
All right. Next fight, Ottoman Azatar going to be taking on Matt Steamroller Frivola, the Bulldozer Ottoman Azatar. So the Steamroller versus the Bulldozer. I got to be honest. You know, I'm a Steamroller fan. You know, I'm a Matt Frivola fan. You know, I always pick him, dude. But I think he's going to get knocked out here, dude. If you just look at just the records themselves, I'm like, oh no, Steamroller is going to get fucking demolished by the Bulldozer, dude. I'm going Bulldozer Ottoman Azatar here by knockout. What are the odds? And break it down for me, dude. I don't know why I just threw that out there to begin with. Maybe because you've been picking first. Who knows?
Yeah, kind of switching it up a little bit, but Ottoman Azatar right now is a small favorite, similar to the Carolina and Juarez line. He's a minus 125. Ottoman Azatar is favorite, and Matt Frivola is a minus 102 dog right now. So little close to even money. I think that line's about right. And honestly, I do agree with you. Matt Frivola does get hit a little too much. Now we know those Longo Sarah guys. They got good wrestling, good cardio. But yeah, it does not seem like Frivola's chin has been able to really withstand the damage that he likes to, I guess, invite as much as of lately. If he maybe switches his approach a little bit, I could see him getting the win. But I do think Ottoman Azatar is going to be a little bit of a handful for him. And yeah, I think Azatar is going to get the win.
Dude, just look at Ottoman's fucking record. Like out of his 13 fights, dude, like 10 of them have came via first round knockout. And Matt Fivola's got knocked out twice his past 2 fights. This is not good. Ottoman, and for having this dumbass Tapology picture too. I hope he fucking loses, dude.
I know that. I heard him in an interview with Anik and Florian, and they pulled up his Wikipedia page or his Tapology page on camera and was like, "Dude, what is this?" Like, yeah, they actually grilled him.
You're shirtless in a cowboy hat and a leather jacket. You weirdo, dude. That's why you deserve to lose this fight. Yeah. So we're both going to Ottoman Azatar here. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Ottoman. The man stealing the potatoes or sneaking the potatoes.
The potato sneaker. Andre Petroski taking on Wellington Turman. Dude, this is one of the tougher ones for me to call for the night, to be honest, because Andre Petroski has surprised me quite a bit in his last fight over Nick Maximov, newly cut from the UFC, Nick Maximov at that. But Wellington Turman also pretty good fighter as well. Trains up there with Glover, Alex Perira, and now Dom Reyes there too now, dude. So good team. So am I going to ride with someone that has just kept impressing me over and over again? The older fighter of the two, or the young Wellington Turman that trains with a great camp that I've also been impressed by? Kind of a tough one, man. Give me the odds, and I'm gonna let you break this one down, and I'm probably gonna go the opposite way so we can have some more different picks, dude.
Yeah, so Petroski, which is actually surprising because I know he's a little bit newer in his UFC tenure, but he is actually a minus 210 favorite according to FanDuel right now. And Wellington Turman is closing in at the plus 162 dog. I do think that Turman, he has shown a little bit as of late, but I do think that his striking needs to be developed a little bit more.
But listen, who's there now? Like as I just said, look who he's training with now.
Right.
Alex
so what
Pereira,
I'm saying,
Dom Reyes, Glover Teixeira.
Right, but
I mean, that's all fantastic strikers for his style.
But what he's put on tape so far, for what I've seen, his striking isn't the greatest. I don't know if going from one camp with these guys is he's just going to all of a sudden going to come out and just be the amazing striker. It is a little bit. I actually heard Luke Thomas do a little bit of a breakdown. He was saying that as far as Ryan Hall coming into the UFC, doing like actual jiu-jitsu kind of made his jiu-jitsu in the UFC worse, and he wasn't able to kind of develop his striking in the way that he liked. I think some of those jiu-jitsu guys can kind of suffer from that. Wellington Turman is super dangerous with the submissions, but I do think that if he's not able to get a submission, Petroski, super strong, good wrestler, good base, and he's also sneaky with the submissions as well, as just you were talking about with Nick Maximov. So I think Petroski, a little bit of a heavy favorite. Not going to put money on that because that line's a little bit too high for me. But I do think that Petroski is able to get it done.
I'm surprised he's so much of the favorite though. Like minus 200.
Yeah, that's.
I would almost.
I got it. I gotta assume that it's just unfamiliarity with Wellington Turman. That's the only thing I can really think, because Turman is a really good fighter.
Yeah, like him just as a dog, that's that's not the worst bet on the card by far. Just for him to win straight up at fucking almost 2-1, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I said for me, as far as Petroski, I cannot see myself putting money on that because I think that's a little bit too high. Because he hasn't fought for that long in the. I know he's been in the UFC, but he hasn't fought for that long in the UFC to deserve that high of a line against a guy who, who has put good performances together in Wellington Turman. So not going to bet that line, but I do agree that I do think that he should be the favorite.
All right, so Dorian going Andre Petroski there, yeah.
Yeah,
I will be going Wellington Turman there strictly because, just laying it out there, strictly because Dorian went one way. I was unsure either way. I knew it was a close fight. So I'm just going to go the opposite no matter which way he went. So I would have went the opposite way here. So we'll have our second different pick of the day, dude. We got 3 more coming up. Try to save them for the main card if we can have 3 different ones on there. But I do think we will have 3 different ones. Moving on up, man. We got cold-blooded Aaron Blanchfield taking on Meatball Molly McCann, dude. And this is a tough matchup for Molly McCann, dude. But got to be honest, Aaron Blanchfield striking isn't the best. Molly's got decent takedown defense, dude. As long as fucking Molly isn't out there trying to throw spinning elbow to get the 3rd one in a row, dude, I think this is a close competitive fight. Or I could be completely wrong. Aaron Blanchfield could come in there and wrestle fucker for 3 rounds and just get a 30-27 easy day at the office. Straight up, I guess off the top of my head, smart me says go Aaron Blanchfield. Aaron Blanchfield should win this. But, dude, this is going to be a good fight. I'm just going to throw that out there. This is going to be a good fight. I think a lot of people think it's just going to be easy, clean sweep for Aaron Blanchfield. But, dude, Molly has surprised me the past 2 times now, dude. I don't know the fire that she's got lit under her. Does the Barstool sponsorship make her or let her focus strictly on MMA instead of, like, where am I going to eat at the next fucking few weeks, dude? Does her having money now allow her to train full-time in MMA and unleash the full meatball beast that she is? Give me the odds. Break this down for me. I'm gonna go Aaron Blanchfield. Smart me, but I'm just excited to watch this fight.
I actually, a lot of that analysis you just laid out there as far as the matchup with the fight, I actually do agree with a lot of what you just said. And Aaron Blanchfield, according to FanDuel right now, she is closing in at a pretty big favorite, minus 460. You get the return money on Molly McCann here at plus 320. Pretty big dog to say the least. And I'm like I said, in full agreement with you. I think this fight is going to be a lot closer than what people are estimating. You know, Aaron Blanchfield, she is a really good wrestler, but and I think the reason a lot of people are very high on Miranda Maverick, and I do think that after seeing Miranda Maverick get handled the way that Aaron Blanchfield did, I think that just put a lot of stock into her, just as far as, you know, her moving forward in the 125 division. But I do think that Molly McCann, she has, as you said, put a couple good performances here together as of late. She has a just this fire and desire about just going out there and getting the finish. And even in her other fights before, she's fought like Priscilla Cachoeira and chicks like that. She's had some pretty tough fights in the UFC, and she's always been gritty. But it does seem like as of late, she's been able to pull a little bit more of it together. So for me, the big thing, obviously, is going to be between the wrestling of Aaron Blanchfield and the striking of Molly McCann. Is Molly McCann going to be able to keep it on the feet? I'll tell you that I wasn't really too interested in this fight until I heard Morning Combat do the interview with Dean Thomas, and Dean Thomas had mentioned that Molly McCann had actually went to ATT, and she is now training down there with Dean Thomas and those guys down in Florida, trying to get some good training in, man. So I think to your question about is Molly be able to, you know, basically put more of her focus in the training, I do think she has been able to do that as of late. And I think for me, I want to see Molly win. It's a really, really tough matchup, though, man. Aaron Blanchfield is a dog, good wrestler. Man, fucking give me Meatball, baby. Let's go.
And he said all that. All right. So we'll have our third different pick of the day if we need it. But in reality, say we have 6, what's the one you're going to throw out? That one right there. That one right there. So, you know, Dorian picking Meatball. It wouldn't surprise me if she won, dude. Like just to be honest, she's good. She could win, you know, but tough matchup. So
I had more heart than head.
Yeah, dude. Dominic the Devastator Reyes taking on Superman Ryan Spann. Off the jump, I gotta think this is a get right fight for Dominic Reyes, dude. But dude, ever since losing to John Jones, he's just got knocked out twice now, dude. Did he hit his peak when fighting John Jones and it's all downhill from there? Dude, I guess we'll see. You lose to Ryan Spann, I believe he'll probably get cut from the UFC, because Ryan Spann is probably like, you know, probably one of the worst fighters at 205, dude. Not going to win a championship anytime soon, anything like that. Not the best chin, not the best fight IQ, dude. If you're getting elbowed in the side of the head, dude, and you're getting knocked out, let go. Stop. What are you doing, dude? Why does this keep happening? If you're getting elbowed in the side of the head and it hurts, let go. Like, stop.
Or protect your head.
Dude, I don't know. This should be a get right fight for Dom Reyes. I'm going Dom Reyes here. Hopefully he gets it done. I guess give me the odds and give me your thoughts and opinions on this one.
I'm actually surprised because Reyes has been off for about a year and a half now. He hadn't fought since about last May against Yuri.
Since he got spinning elbow knocked out, dude.
Yeah, man. So he is a minus 230 favorite right now, according to FanDuel, and you can get plus money on Ryan Spann at plus 176. I do think that the lines are just about justified. Now, I know you were saying that Reyes, you know, he's been knocked out, you know, the last couple of times. But you do realize that he has lost to nothing but champions.
Literally the champions, yeah. Literally the champions. Yeah. But so that's when I say this is a get right fight for him. That's when I say, yes, you've lost 2, but they weren't the champions at the time, though. The only champion he fought at the time was John Jones, you know?
But they went on to fight for the title in their next fight, and they won the title. And well, the Jan fight was for the title, if we remember correct.
Title, yeah.
And then And then Yuri ended up getting the title fight next and ended up winning it. So it's not like, he fought for another championship against Jan.
But he loses 4 in a row, you get cut, dude. That's like, if he loses to Ryan Spann right now, does he get cut from the UFC?
I mean, how many fights were we just talking about Carolina losing? And she still hasn't got cut yet. So, I mean, she literally lost, 5 in a row? So, yeah, the UFC didn't give up on her. There are these fighters that the UFC will give multiple opportunities to, even when they are down in the gutters. I think Dominic Reyes would be one of those guys. But
dude, if he gets knocked out round 1, I swear they're cutting him, dude. I swear they're going to cut him. He goes in there and gets knocked out round 1 by fucking Ryan Spann, dude.
It would just have to. I would have to see how it would happen. But to me, ultimately, I would still think that they would give him another shot just because he has been able to put himself out there. He's put on good fights for him, against John Jones, against Jan. And that Yuri fight was a damn good fight. I mean, you see the result, and it's easy to say, oh, well, hey, he deserves to be cut. But if you actually look in context of all those fights were very close. Of course, losing to John Jones by I believe it's a unanimous decision, actually, which is crazy. That was unanimous. Yeah, it was unanimous. But and then the Jan fight was really good. Jan just landed that big punch, broke Reyes' nose, and Reyes just he knew he was going to have to go out on a shield, and that's pretty much what he did. Yeah, well, he ended up getting his nose completely. He ended up getting his nose completely crushed, and then once he got his nose broke, it was like. He just said, fuck it, and literally just kept throwing combos at Jan, and it was either kill or be killed, and he ended up going out on a shield. Yuri fight the same way. He dropped Yuri a couple times in that fight before Yuri was able to get back up and do his thing, obviously. But he showed heart in all those fights, so that's why I'm not thinking he's going to get cut. But overall, obviously not even to break down the fight, I do think that he's able to come back. Year off, I think his chin's gonna be replenished, and I think he gets the knockout against Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann is very chinny,
dude. Hopefully. But dude, if he loses to Ryan Spann, it's like who do you fight next, dude?
Yeah, but Ryan Spann is also and I know you give him a crud as well, but he is a really good athlete. And
dude, if he loses to Ryan Spann, who does Dominic Reyes fight next?
I mean, I would have to look at the 205 roster. I mean, I can't.
There's not really much
worse.
There's not much worse people though. That's the thing. It's like
if you match him up against Johnny Walker, you can match him up against Johnny Walker. You can match him up against Thiago. I'm sorry, Thiago Santos did just he just retired, right? Yeah. But yeah, and I'm trying to pull guys off the top of my head here. I'm thinking about the UFC 4 roster, but but no, I think that there would still be matchups out there. Like I said, Johnny Walker, Tefan Chukwi, William Knight. I mean, you can match him up against any of those guys because at least if you're not going to build Dominic Reyes back up to be a champion, you can potentially use a younger guy to build the name off of Dominic Reyes. Right. So
all right. I see what you're saying, dude, but he's not, dude, there is not I haven't seen what's getting to to be one of the worst fall from graces yet at being 12-0 and then just come in and just lose to the champion and then just get knocked out in devastating fashion 2 times in a row right after that. If it's 3, dude, it's not looking good for the Devastator Dominic Reyes. But let's move on up to the main event of the prelims, dude. We got Brad Riddell taking on Renato Moicano. Damn, dude, this is a tough fight to call if you ask me. I guess immediate takeaway from the fights. You look at when Renato Moicano fought Rafael Fiziev. I know they're not the same person. However, they both were at one point the Tiger Muay Thai striking coach. So I just want to throw that out there for just a second. So some similarities there. And if you look at what happened when Renato Moicano fought Rafael Fiziev, got knocked the fuck out. So that could happen here. I do think that Brad Riddell is not as quick as Rafael Fiziev. He is a little bit older. On the other hand, Renato Moicano is good on the ground. So if he chooses to exercise that and go to the ground, he'll have a great advantage there. In my opinion, this is Brad Riddell by knockout / decision, or Renato Moicano by submission, dude. Tough fight to call personally. I don't really know if I even have a lean, to be honest. How are you going here? Or I guess what are the odds and how are you going here?
You can get Renato Moicano at he's going to be the favorite here at -122, and Brad Riddell is going to be one of those close lines at Brad Riddell -104 right now, according to FanDuel. So really close on the lines. For me, I think the biggest thing going into this fight is Renato Moicano, good submissions, good striking. He's a very well-balanced fighter. I do think that in a lot of the matchups that he's been able, or that he hasn't shown up in, were against dynamic strikers. Rafael Fiziev, Korean Zombie, Jose Aldo. Those guys, all those guys were able to finish him as well, because Renato Moicano can sometimes rest on his chin just a little bit too much. He does like the standing there and bang a little bit. And even in the RDA fight, in his last fight, we know that he took the fight on short notice, but RDA literally spared him in the fight. So to me, I'm wondering how much can that do to your psyche as a fighter that you literally just got spared in your last fight. And again, as you said, Fiziev and Riddell, there are some similarities there. Riddell coached Fiziev for a little bit, so those type of dynamic strikers tend to give Moicano a problem. And I think Brad Riddell, he's only lost to really good dudes in Fiziev and Jalen Turner. Those are two guys that are going to be coming up in that division pretty soon. So I think that Riddell got a good chin overall for the most part. And I just don't think that Renato Moicano is going to be able to withstand the damage. I do think that Riddell's a little bit more reserved, so I do think a decision is going to be a good bet here. If you're betting, I think Riddell by decision, you could probably get some decent money on that right now. But I think Riddell gets it done.
In any of the parlays that I already have made, I had this fight going over 1.5 because that's the DraftKings odds that it gave me at the time. So I was like, I'm for sure taking that over 1.5 because I really don't see anyone getting finished that early, if away. So Dorian going Riddell. I mean, we already have 3 different picks. I think I might just stay out of that one. I don't really have a lean either way. I'm just going to kind of sit back and kind of watch what happens in that fight. As you said, like the Moicano against RDA, I kind of forgot about that one. But you're right, dude. He did spare him. Like he could have finished him, but he just wanted to give him like, hey man, like thanks for taking this fight. Let's just fight. Yeah. So I get what you're saying. So let's move on. Finally at the main card now, man. Finally there, dude. We got Dan, the Hangman Hooker. And I didn't have his name ready earlier, so let me make sure that I have it ready now. Dan, the Hangman Hooker, taking on Prince of Peru, Claudio Puelles. I knew it was something with Peru. Yeah, I was kind of close. I almost had them all on the main card, dude. Dude, Claudio Puelles just keeps getting knee bars over and over. So off the top of my head, dude, Dan Hooker might get knee barred in this fight, dude. Give me the odds. I'm going to let you break it down for me. Let me tell people.
You got Dan Hooker, the favorite here, pretty heavy favorite in my estimation, -172, and Claudio Puelles, you're getting money on him at +134. So actually surprising to me on that line, but I do think coming into this matchup, Dan Hooker, we've seen him kind of take some damage here in his last few fights, and but he has only fought like the top guys. You're talking Michael Chandler when he made the head scratching cut to 145 because
Arnold Allen, dude.
Yeah,
Arnold
well,
Allen.
and he had a losing record in the UFC at 145 before moving back down to then take another fight and lose at 145. He actually had a winning record.
Dude,
at
he
55,
lost like 6 or 7 in a row now. Dude, when's the last time Dan Hooker won?
He won against Nasrat Hakparas. I believe it was like at the end of last year. He had lost against Poirier, Chandler, then he got the win against Nasrat, and
yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Like, but before that, dude, he's just, dude, Dan Hooker, like he
lost against Islam too. Lost against Islam, then he moved down to 55. But that's what I'm saying. He's lost against like Islam, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler. He's only lost to the top guys in the division. So, and he's willing to take all comers and throw Arnold Allen in there too. Willing to take all comers. Claudio Puelles has been getting a lot of those knee bars, as you said, got 2 of them in a row.
But in his last one, he got beat up a little bit first. Like
it was against Clay Guida. He got beat up against too a little bit before he was able to get that.
That wasn't his last one. It was the one like after that. Like his eye was all swollen, but he still got the knee bar. Like it was like
Clay Guida was getting. Dude, Clay Guida was getting some good ground and pound in there before he was able to, and that's how he was able to get the knee bar on him. Because Clay Guida
in the position. He traps you in. I don't think Dan Hooker is going to play that game. That's the issue, though.
Right, and that's the way I'm leaning. Is that I think that Puelles is not a dynamic striker, not a good takedown artist. Really good submissions if he's able to get it down to the ground. And I know the jiu-jitsu guys can get it down to the ground in a multitude of ways, but I do think that for the most part, Michael Chandler Dan Hooker has displayed good takedown defense for the most part. You know, he got taken down by Islam, but that's Islam, so different type of beast. So I think that Dan Hooker fought the higher level competition. Needing to win here. Got the whole City Kickboxing team there behind him. I think it's going to be a storm of City Kickboxing, man. I do think that he's going. I think he's going to be able to get it done. Dan Hooker.
I'll rock with you here, man, with Dan Hooker. But throw it out there. Don't be surprised you see Claudio Puelles Imanari roll to fucking knee bar. just because, dude. There's no.
He'll look like Tony Ferguson out there doing the damn M&R. Yeah, he'll do some Tony Ferguson shit out there trying to get that knee bar, dude. And he's super dangerous with it. But I do think that's his most dangerous weapon going into this fight, though.
All right. Anything else on that one, man? Or we both rocking Dan Hooker?
Yeah, we're going the Hangman, Dan Hooker, baby.
All right. Up next, Frankie, the Answer Edgar, taking on Chris El Guapo Gutierrez, dude. Forgotten about fight on this card for a lot of people because there is a lot of star power on this card, dude. We talked about this earlier, maybe like a few weeks ago, maybe like about a month ago now. I gave you my thoughts and opinions up front. Chris Gutierrez has fantastic leg kicks. Frankie Edgar at this point is older. He's not even that big for 135, which is the crazy part. That he was the 155 champion, and he's not even that big at 135 with these new guys, dude. Chris Gutierrez camp trains fantastic, these low leg kicks, dude. Don't be surprised you see Frankie Edgar get finished with leg kicks in this fight. I'm going Chris Gutierrez. Let me know the odds and give me your thoughts and opinions here.
Yeah, so Chris Gutierrez is closing in. He's one of the bigger favorites on this card. Not quite big as Aaron Blanchfield. He is right now minus 245, and you can get Frankie Edgar at plus 186. I do think as far as I believe I actually mixed Chris Gutierrez up with somebody else because I thought that he had gotten knocked out by Jim Miller, but I was like, I had a completely different fighter than who Chris Gutierrez was.
You're thinking about somebody called like the fucking Ghost Pepper or some shit like that. That's who you're thinking about.
Yeah, Eric Gonzalez.
Yeah,
is that what it is? Oh my God, how did I know that by his nickname? What the hell, dude? I couldn't, dude. I'm like, I don't even know how. As soon as you said the damn Ghost Pepper, dude, I'm like, oh, Eric Gonzalez. Like how did I couldn't just remember Eric Gonzalez before.
That's how I remember fighters is by their nickname. So if they don't have a nickname, I tend to forget them or their face confuses me. And that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's weird that I remember the name and not the nickname. I don't know. It weird. But no, Chris Gutierrez, yeah. Frankie, love him, man. And he's fighting in New York. You know, he is, I believe, from that northeastern region. Going to have a lot of people backing him. He's going to come out to arguably my favorite all-time Biggie Smalls song, Kick in the Door. I mean, I can literally go word for word. Even the beginning sketch of the song. Love that song half to death. But Frankie, yeah, at this point, chin's been very diminished. Taking a lot of damage. And I do think that he's going to be he's going to be up against it, man. So I think the odds are sitting about right, and I do think Chris Gutierrez gets the win. I think that if Chris Gutierrez, I think he ends up keeping it a little bit more measured, maybe getting a decision. I could see kind of a similar result to when Izzy fought Anderson Silva. It almost seemed like Izzy didn't want to go too hard against Anderson Silva because it was Anderson Silva. I could see Gutierrez kind of doing that and maybe getting a decision win. But I do think Gutierrez bigger, faster, stronger. Should be a pretty easy dub.
Dude, that surprised me because a few weeks ago you're like, nah, man, I'm rocking Frankie off the jump. You know, this is gonna be his like last fight. He's for sure gonna get the dub. And I was like, bro, I just hope he retires after. But I gotta rock Chris Gutierrez because, dude, that
once I realized who it was, I was like, oh shit, I completely mixed him up with a different person. So that is not a good matchup as I thought it was.
So one of the ones I thought we were going to pick different on, we end up picking the same one. Chris Gutierrez low leg kicks, dude, they're nasty. Keep an eye out for those. Looks like we're both going El Guapo there, dude. So moving on up, the people's main event, dude. Dustin Poirier taking on Michael Chandler, dude. And this is also one of those ones that's like, bro, I don't know. I might let D pick and then go the opposite way again. Gun to my head, I would say DP, dude. But, dude, Chandler's good. I saw in an interview that Dustin Poirier said the hardest he had ever been hit was by Conor McGregor, dude. And that's kind of surprising when you fought Eddie Alvarez, you fought Justin Gaethje, you know, you haven't fought Michael Chandler yet. So I guess we'll see. I heard an interview with Justin Gaethje said that his leg kicks were the hardest leg kicks that he's ever felt. So kind of surprising there. Yeah, dude, I'm kind of split either way. Smart me says go Dustin Poirier, but I'm gonna let D pick, and then I'm gonna go the opposite again, so we can have our fourth different pick of the day here.
Man, so you know me as far as when it comes to both these fighters. You know I'm a big Dustin Poirier fan. Always backed him for a long time. Thought he was going to be able to capture the UFC lightweight title. Unfortunately, wasn't able to do that against Charles Oliveira. And when, you know, in the old iteration of the podcast, you know, I'd actually predicted that he was going to win the title at the end of the year and beat Conor McGregor. And a lot of people were surprised about it. And, you know, I'm a big Chandler fan as well. I've always backed him. Even when he was in Bellator, literally the very first fight I had seen him in Bellator was against the Petroski Pitbull, the older brother, where he landed the one straight right and completely put him in zombie mode. So, big fan of both the fighters. This is such a tough fight for me, man. Because again, when you're fans of both fighters like that, you just want to see a good fight, but you don't want to see the other one get hurt too much. So it's like, it's hard for me to root. But man, I do think that sometimes when Poirier can get in there a little bit, he can get caught up in the dust a little bit. No pun intended. He can get caught up in the dust, and you know, he can get caught in combinations. He did it against Michael Johnson. He did against Conor McGregor in the first fight. Sometimes he'll kind of stand in the pocket and trade with you, and he's always had a pretty good chin, but has been clipped before and put away. So, and I think for Chandler, I do think that, you know, the boxing advantage is obviously going to be on Dustin's side. So Chandler's going to have a lot to work with when it comes to if he's just going to solely box Dustin Poirier. He's going to have his absolute hands full. I do think that Chandler in that Tony Ferguson fight, he did get dropped in that fight, but was able to get back up, and he ended up using a lot of his wrestling there at the end of the round. But we know how Tony is with the nasty elbows and stuff like that. I don't know if Dustin Poirier is really that defensive when it comes to his wrestling defense. Now, he knows that Michael Chandler isn't the submission that Charles Oliveira is, but Charles Oliveira literally sat in his guard the whole time, and Dustin Poirier didn't even attempt to move because they didn't want to get submitted. I think if Chandler comes in here and decides to mix it up, I think he mixes it up a lot in his fights with the striking and the wrestling. I think Chandler actually has the opportunity to get it done here with his wrestling, man. And I think that Chandler can actually get a decision here against Poirier. So give me Chandler here.
Surprising, dude. Surprising. I mean, this fight could truly go either way, but I'm surprised that I'm surprised that you're riding with Chandler over Poirier, dude. Just because it's like, dude, this is what throws me off, dude. You got dropped by Charles Oliveira. You got dropped by old Tony Ferguson. But you last 3 rounds and take all the damage of Justin Gaethje. It's like,
Well, he got dropped in that fight too.
But he didn't get knocked out. It's like it's confusing. It's confusing to me. Like, I don't know. Like I said, gun to my head, I have to go Poirier strictly due to chin. You haven't seen Poirier rocked as often as you've seen Chandler. And I just think strictly due to that, I have to go DP. And I got a 1-of-1 Dustin the Diamond Poirier card. So, if he keeps winning, then, that I'm just going to cherish that more and more. I still probably won't ever get rid of it. I'll have that shit forever. But, let's go DP. Let's have our 4th different pick of the day. Dorian going iron. I am going diamond. You know what's harder, baby? Diamonds, baby.
Hey, well, I will say, how I am with Dustin Poirier's hot sauce. It is literally the only hot sauce I eat now.
It's like officially I do not eat the hot sauce sponsor of the UFC too. I saw that earlier.
Yeah, seen Dustin Poirier post that on his social media earlier. So that was pretty cool to see that. But yeah, it's literally the only hot sauce I eat. I do not eat any other hot sauce. It is so freaking delicious, and I put it on literally everything. It's awesome, man. So shout out to DP.
Yeah, I almost skipped right over this co-main event. But our co-main event, Carla, the Cookie Monster of Spars, are taking on Magnum Zhang Weili. And we will see a Magnum-style execution, 44 Magnum against a human being this weekend. That's what's most likely going to happen, dude. But, dude, I've seen crazier things. Dude, Juliana Pena knuckled up Amanda Nunes and then submitted her, dude. I don't see it happening here. Zhang Weili should absolutely demolish Carla Esparza here. Dude, she's so powerful. Dude, she knuckled up Jessica Andrade. She, went blow for blow with the pile driver and, finished her, dude. I don't see a way Carla Esparza gets out of round 1, to be honest. And this is one of the bets that I made earlier on in the week as soon as it was available was Zhang Weili under 3.5 at plus money. I don't know if it's still plus money now, but on DraftKings, it was like plus 110, Zhang Weili under 3.5. And I was all over that. So that is one of the locks in my parlay. Zhang Weili should for sure get this dub here. But, dude, as I said, I've seen crazier things happen. It wouldn't surprise me. It would surprise me, but it wouldn't be the most surprising thing I've ever seen. I would be jumping up, go Cookie Monster, because she's one of these people that I don't want to say she's like the Tony, but it's like, I don't want to see her get beat up. Like I've watched her for so long now. I've watched her since that season of Tough aired now. I watched that season twice, once with my girlfriend, because I consider that to be the best Tough season because it's like the best females that weren't in the UFC fighting for a new belt. That was one of my favorite seasons of Tough. Probably one of the last ones that I watched altogether. So I am going Magnum Zhang Weili here. I don't want to see Carla Esparza get beat up. She could win. I'm rambling. Before you answer and you give me the odds and shit, which would be more terrifying for you? For you to be a heavyweight fighter standing across from Derek Lewis, or to be a 125 female standing across from Magnum Zhang Weili, dude? If you had to choose, you'd be like, fuck, dude, that's a tough question.
Yeah. Well, and as you're talking about, the weight class that Zhang Weili is in, 115, and for heavyweight.
I said 125, didn't I? I meant 115.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. That's why I was going by. But yeah, no. As you're speaking about that, the clip that I sent you about a week ago, that was absolutely nuts to see Zhang Weili grab Francis Ngannou and lift him up by his leg on her shoulder and was like carrying him for a couple of seconds, man. So that just goes to show what type of tank that Zhang Weili is. I do think that, her training with Henry Cejudo for these last few camps now, it is going to help improve her wrestling defense. The only thing that I can say that does kind of concern me about Weili going into the fight is that in that second Rose fight, Rose kind of took her down a little bit more than I was comfortable seeing. And Weili was able to get back up at certain points in those fights, but Rose she's a great submission threat. She's got good boxing. She's got good head kicks. She is a dynamic fighter, but there's one thing that she's really not great with is the takedowns. And Weili was able to get put on her back a couple of times in the second fight against Rose, and that's how she was able to, or that's how Rose was able to get the W in that fight. And we do know the notorious wrestler that Carla Esparza is. I do remember in that Yan Xiaonan fight, we thought that Yan Xiaonan was going to blow through her, and the exact opposite happened.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Thorne. You're going to give me a headache if you don't give me just a second, just to cut you off. Bro, Zhang Weili versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk, dude, she wrestle fucked her until she fucking spinning back fisted her. I believe the holes are patched in Weili's wrestling. I just want to throw that out there real quick.
Wrestling offense versus wrestling defense. Okay. Those are two different things. Okay. And if Weili is going to initiate the wrestling, if she wants to try to do that against a more decorated wrestler in Carla Esparza, that's going to be interesting to see unfold if Weili's going to actually be willing to take it there. I don't think she's going to. I think she's just going to manage to keep her distance. I don't know if she is going to get the finish, because I do think that Carla, she knows how to play defense for the most part, I guess you could say, as you've seen in the last fight against Rose Namajunas. I don't think she's going to. I think if she can't get the wrestling exchanges, I think she's honestly just going to stay at distance and just try to take minimal damage and call it a day. So I do think that Weili gets it done. I don't know. I want to caution people with the finish. I actually think a decision is going to be more likely.
Really? That's surprising, dude.
I actually think a decision is going to be more likely.
I think she knows, dude. If you put pressure on Carla Esparza, dude, she's going to fold. You look at any time she's been pressured ever, dude, she kind of folds. If she can't get the takedown, she's ass on the feet, dude. And I watched the embedded, dude, and it's fucking laughable. Like, if you just look at them hitting pads, dude, it's like, oh my God, this is rough, dude. Carla Esparza looks like she just started striking like 6 months ago. And when Zhang Weili looks like she's like a dude hitting pads. It's like, dude, if she comes out like she fought Jessica Andrade, dude, there's zero chance Carla Esparza lasts out of the first round. Can you agree this is going to look like Carla Esparza versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk if Zhang Weili comes out there and just puts the business on her?
Well, because this is what I'm trying to caution everybody about. I don't think that Weili's just going to go out there and try to just finish her in the first round. I mean,
but it's definitely possible. That's the.
I'm not saying it's not possible, but when has Weili ever came out and just absolutely just swung to the fences? And you could say in the Andrade fight, but that's because Andrade literally never got out of her face once. Yeah. Other than that, Zhang Weili does not walk people down notoriously. She is good for keeping her range. She has some dynamic kicks. And she was able to land that spinning back fist against Joanna, but Joanna was also 3 years off as well. And like I said, when she fought Andrade literally was just like, hey, hit me right here if you can, please. And just stood there in front of her and was just taking shot after shot until Weili finally ended up hurting her. So Carla, she's taken damage like that before. She knows what it's like, and she does not want to take that type of damage. As noted in her last fight against Rose Namajunas, she was not going to stand in the pocket and take shots. She ended up, honestly, she got lucky to get the decision, because I thought it should have just been a draw because it was that bad of a fight. But Carla's not going to stand in there and take unnecessary damage if she ain't got to. Weili is not going to go out there and blow her wad to try to get the finish either. I could see her just going out there and just outclassing her all 5 rounds. But I don't see Weili just going out there and blowing her wad in the first round and potentially giving herself a chance to lose the fight, because if she goes out there and gasses, then that's going to play in the Carla's favor with the wrestling. So I do think that she understands the wrestling threat. And like I said, her wrestling defense, you said against Joanna, she used her wrestling offense, but her wrestling defense against Rose still wasn't that great. So I want to see how much training with Henry Cejudo has improved on her wrestling defense. But I do think that it's a decision here for Weili.
Interesting. So we are both going Weili. I think she takes one clean shot. She's folding and she's done, dude. Magnum Chang Weili is so damn powerful. And as you said, once you sent me that thing picking up fucking Francis, it's a fucking wrap, dude. There's not more fights on this card that I'm more confident on that it's like, okay, well, this should happen. But as I said, dude, enjoy on opinion, knuckle it up, Amanda Nunes. So before we get started with our main fight, just real quick, we're going to set a little light goal for this week. You see Dorian's white ass background every single week. We're going to set a light goal. We get 30 likes this week on this specific podcast video before we do our next podcast. 30 people hit that like button. Dorian will have a background next week. He said he would do it. So let's put the pressure on him. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are not. Comments are always appreciated down below. Let us know in the comments, what should Dorian put in the background? He said that he has a few things already, but, look at this. I got a bunch of shit back here. Let's get Dorian set up. Let's fucking make him zoom out his camera just a little bit. Let's fucking make him have a little, showing a little more there in the fucking background next week. But let's move on to the main event. Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya taking on Alex, Poatan, Perira. Quick little setup. Third fight of the two. First fight they had in kickboxing. It went to a decision. Alex Perira got his hand raised. Although it was a close fight back and forth, I'm not going to say I know how kickboxing is scored, but when I watched it, I would think that if this was an MMA fight, Israel would have won that fight. So I think personally, Israel won that first fight. The second fight happened. It was about a year later. Israel was winning the fight. He had Alex Pereira hit him. He had a standing 8 count. And then about 30 seconds later, Izzy gets hit with a left hook and gets knocked out cold. Alex Pereira gets his hand raised. I want to point out one thing, that this was super, I don't want to say super early into Alex Pereira's kickboxing career, but both these fights happened when Izzy had like 60 something fights already, and Alex was, he was like 30 to 40. He was still fairly young in his career. Since then, Izzy went on to MMA. Alex Pereira continued to kickbox for the past few years. Just so you guys know, he just stopped kickboxing about a year and a half ago. So to let you guys know, a year and a half ago, Alex Pereira was fighting to be the best kickboxer in the world less than 2 years ago. Just want to throw that out there for a little insight. And he's now fighting Israel Adesanya, the man that he's now beat twice. He's going to be fighting him in MMA now for the UFC middleweight championship of the world. So that's the setup. Dorian, give me the odds and who you going here?
Yeah, so Izzy is actually closing in pretty heavy favorite. I was actually able to get him at a pretty good money early in the week, but right now he is looking at a -210 favorite, Israel Adesanya, and Alex Pereira is the +162 dog right now. I think as far as the kickboxing matches, I think you kind of, set it up perfectly. I actually went back and watched those. I've watched them multiple times, but I actually went back and watched them again just for today, just to kind of put it in a comparison and really study for the fight. And I do think that in the first fight, in my opinion, I do think Israel won the fight. I thought in the first round of that fight, Alex Pereira actually landed a couple good left hooks in that round, but Izzy actually showed a really good chin. And when Alex, was able to establish a little bit of pressure on him, Izzy was able to use a lot of his footwork, was able to actually land a lot of combos, a lot of 1-2s, and whenever Pereira would kind of back him up against the ropes, Izzy would kind of almost fire off, and he would throw a lot of teeps to the body as well to kind of keep Pereira away. I do think that he won the first fight, but I think that for a robbery, it's not a robbery because it was a very close fight. It was a very close fight.
Do you know the kickboxing rules? I don't know how that shit scored.
Exactly what I was about to say. I'm not sure how the kickboxing rules, how they're scored. We're so used to scoring any type of fight in general, the way we score a UFC fight, and not necessarily every organization scores every type of combat sports that way. But I do think the first fight Izzy won. Second fight, as you said, Izzy hit him with a big right hand in that second round. Rocked him, put him on skates, got the standing 8 count. Perira did.
Time out. He hit him with the head kick first. He hit him with like with the Rob Whittaker, like the hook and then the head kick. Then the 8 count happened. So I just want to point it out. Dude, Alex has got a fucking chin. Even though it's standing 8 count, bro, he got head kicked and took all of that power. And dude, he's tough as fuck.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. But leading into it, though, Izzy landed. So Perira, and the only reason why, because I literally have notes right here, and I actually wrote it down as I was watching the fight. Perira got cracked by a big right hand by Izzy because he was trying to walk Izzy down against the ropes. Izzy landed a big right hand, backed up, and got Perira in the corner, and Izzy just kept firing off this right hand after
four
right
hands in a row, yeah?
Yeah, and cracked them with every one of them just about. And even when Perira was slipping, Izzy hit him with a couple uppercuts. Then he landed the head kick, and that's when they had gave him the standing 8 count there at that point. Third round starts. We all know how it ended. Perira ends up getting the big shot there and ended it. But I do think going into this fight, man, it's just going to be completely different. Just as far as those fights were only the 2 that I had seen, those were only 3 rounds, but they were only 3-minute rounds as well. This is going to be 5-minute 5 rounds. Alex Perira, as you said, he has taken this short journey here in MMA. He had fought, kind of off and on in MMA in the early 2010s, kind of like that mid 2015, 2016 range, but then he put more of his focus into kickboxing. And now for the last roughly 2 years, he's put more of his focus into MMA. But if you go over the list of fighters that he's fought, let's just go over the guys that Alex Pereira's fought. Andre Michailidis. So
Bruno Silva.
So Bruno Silva, who is a decent fighter.
It's yourself,
Andre Michailidis,
like don't fucking count yourself out that man. Dorian is a twin of Bruno Silva over here.
That's my guy though. Look, I like him, but no,
yeah.
Right, but in that Bruno Silva fight, I mean, we know Bruno Silva, he's a dog. He's got powerful hands. I wouldn't say the best hands. And Perira did get walked down a little bit in that fight, and Bruno Silva kind of gave him some problems in that fight. And I wouldn't consider Bruno Silva a top 15 middleweight by any means. And in the Sean Strickland fight, again, good fighter, but Izzy even told Sean Strickland going into the press conference, dude, don't put your focus on me. Worry about him. Worry about him. Keep your hands up before he knocks you out. And what did Sean Strickland do?
Get knocked out.
and just jab and parry. You're going to stand in front of Alex Pereira and jab and parry. Dude, you're setting yourself up to get butchered. And that's exactly what happened. So Alex Pereira, not as experienced in these types of fights. If you go over Izzy's resume, Marvin Vettori twice, Robert Whittaker twice, Jared Cannonier, Derek Brunson. I mean, we can just go through the list of guys that he's fought and beat at this type of level. I just don't see how he doesn't get the job done, man. Again, in both of those fights, in the kickboxing fights, I thought that he had some rights to say that he was going to win those fights and should have. Let's go. Last Bender, baby. Israel Adesanya, let's go. He's going to get the job done, man. And I would not be surprised if you see a late finish. Right. I do think that with Alex Pereira not having the 5-round experience in MMA just yet, as you said, making the short journey over into this spot, he has not fought 5 rounds yet. When Izzy does this regularly, a lot more experience on his side. Izzy gets the job done, man.
So Dorian finally revealing his shirt. I asked him at the beginning of the podcast that, of course, he is going the last style bender, Israel Adesanya.
Let's go.
But to start off like this, we will have our fifth and final pick of the day. I am going Alex Perira. Dorian's known this for months on end now. I'm going to be rooting for Izzy, dude. I truly hope that Izzy wins, but dude, it's just it's already happened once. I don't, dude. How they fight is not that different than what happened, dude. I'm just like, do you see Izzy shooting on him? Like
well,
how is this going to be different? That's my question, because if it's strictly on, I guess the only different thing is maybe on the when Izzy got the standing 8 count on Alex, the fight wouldn't have been stopped there. Izzy would have been able to finish him off there, if you will, if it happened, or who knows,
or the ref might have actually stopped the fight.
Yeah. But at the same time, dude, it's like they've spent so much time together now. If you ask me who I think has improved their striking more, I got to go with Alex, because he wasn't the most experienced kickboxer when they fought the first time. And it's been years since then now, and he's went on to win two championships in kickboxing. I don't think this is going to be anything aside from a kickboxing match in an octagon. Maybe Izzy's able to dance around, as he said he might do this week, jab and leg kick his way to victory. It could happen, but I'm going Alex. But if the smart me and what all my bets will have in it, I won't be picking either way. I will be going under 4.5, dude. Alex definitely can finish Izzy, as Dorian said. He doesn't have the 5-round experience, so maybe a late finish. That is definitely true. And the way Izzy has acted this week, I know he acts different in every week. Like, oh, this week's different. I want to finish this guy. Like, this week's different. I want to finish this guy because of this reason. He's in like this, like in the woods of fucking New Jersey right now, and it's like fucking mansion. And I watched the interview on his fucking YouTube channel. I believe it's with his brother or like fucking whatever. So it's like he just seems to have a different vibe. Like he's coming, like he wants to finish Alex to get payback for what he did to him. So that's why I'm going under 4.5. I don't care which one of them finish. I want to see some violence. I hope one of them knock the other one out. Gun to my head, I got to go Alex, just because, it's already happened. It's in the cards. Izzy likes to talk about history, his story, whatever the fuck you say. I was always told forgotten history is destined to be repeated. So, if Izzy looks at it like that, that's his story. Well, Izzy, you might get knocked out again, and it will be, in fact, history once again. And new middleweight champion of the world, Alex Poatan Perira, dude. I just think he trains with Glover. I don't think Izzy's going to shoot on him, but if he does shoot on him, maybe. Who knows, dude? Alex might shoot on Izzy. Who the fuck knows? Anything else on this fight, or any other takeaways from what I said, dude?
Well, you got to think too, in those kickboxing matches, when Izzy would kind of come in with big combinations, they were in clinch situations. So I think you can see some of that get played out in this fight. Izzy does have good knees in the clinch as well. So when he kind of gets guys, when he's able to kind of, not necessarily a plumb clinch, but he's good for using his knees, kind of getting a clinch and throwing a good knee to the body in there. And you got to think in kickboxing as well. And some of the organizations, you're not able to throw elbows in those fights. In MMA and UFC, you absolutely can throw elbows, and that's one thing that Israel Adesanya does great as well, is throw some nasty elbows when he gets the opportunity to. So I think just a different rule set, all that, again, in that second fight, had him on the ropes. If that's in the UFC, either the fight keeps going, or when that ref comes in and stops Izzy, he's going to stop him from finishing Alex Pereira even more, and the fight's going to be over with. So Izzy has shown life in those two fights, and I just think that 5 years ago, Alex Pereira, even though he wasn't necessarily as experienced, is the older fighter. So that age is going to take toll at some point as well. And
how much do you think Alex has grown in size in that past 5 years, dude? Do you think the size is going to play?
But is he?
I think he's bigger than Shaq now, dude. I mean, Dude,
Yeah, dude,
Alex
it's
keeps
absolutely.
growing, dude.
He doesn't stop. He does not stop. I mean, I think I seen a picture of him the other day, and he was like standing, next to my house, and he was bigger than my house. So, yeah, it's absolutely crazy the way that dude grows, man.
Dude, so you don't think after seeing Jan versus Izzy, you don't think the size might play a bigger factor than what you anticipated going into the fight? Because dude, Alex is a big fucking guy.
He's a big dude, but Jan is.
I guarantee you Alex is bigger
thicker.
than Jan. I guarantee you Alex is bigger than Jan.
I don't think he's bigger than Jan. Jan is a very big dude. When he fought Izzy, he ended up going into the fight at 236.
But
when he ended up going into the fight that night.
You saw Jan fight Dom Reyes, right? Dom Reyes was a little bit bigger, a little bit thinner, but a taller, longer. When Reyes was next to Alex Perira, he looks like a different weight class altogether. He's taller and thicker, dude.
But we've literally seen Izzy and Alex line up nose to nose with one another. It's not that much of a size difference between the two. When they faced off, they literally faced off against one another in kickboxing. And when they faced off,
that was years ago.
I know, but they're not going to be that much different. And exactly that Izzy has put on more weight as well. And he even noted because I listened to his interview with Luke Thomas this morning as well, and he even mentioned himself that he's adding more bulk intentionally for this fight because he wants to make sure that he can stay a little bit closer to the size of Perira. So Perira is going to be the bigger guy,
dude. Hopefully, dude.
I don't think it's going to be that much of a size advantage because Izzy's still going to have the reach advantage.
Like I said, I hope Izzy wins. My pick is Alex, but in reality, I hope this goes under 4.5 rounds. Anything else on this card, man, before we get out of here?
Nah, man. I think we wrapped it up for a good pod today.
Dug the hole. Time to lay in it now, dude. So that is our 5 different picks. We are going Izzy versus Alex different. What else are we going different on, dude? We are going different Chandler Poirier. We are going different on
Molly McCann, Aaron Blanchfield.
Molly McCann, Aaron Blanchfield. I don't know why you picked Molly McCann there, dude. That's
Wellington. I'm just going. I'm just doing it because I want me Aaron.
What was it? Wellington Turman, Aaron Blanchfield, Andre Petroski versus Wellington.
It's a terrible fight.
Yeah, and then Carolina Kowalkiewicz, Silvana Gomez, Juarez. That is our 5 different picks of the day. So, for those of you who don't know, usually if you have a parlay with all the fighters that we agree in are going to win, that fucking parlay has been hitting, dude. But I tend to not do that. I always have to throw my fucking personal picks in there as well, dude. But oddly enough, the fights that we agree on, dude, all those tend to hit. I mean, most of the time favorites as they should be, so it is what it is. What I think we should do next year, dude, is start counting them at the beginning of the year, like fucking have a list, and we'll see like how many of them we are right on at the whole year, and then at the end of the year we'll fucking have we went like 300 out of the 500 for the year or whatever, which is still pretty good for calling fights.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, especially considering 300 and that's over 500. So I mean that's damn good. If we can hit like that, we're gonna get some pretty good odds for y'all. I mean, you ain't gonna win all of them, but when you can win them, you can win them pretty big, and that's like I said, you're over 500. So
yeah, man. So, don't forget, y'all, like goal, 30 likes. Dorian will have a background next week. Subscribe to the channel. If you are not, let us know how we did in the comments. Do you like watching this? I see a few people ask if this is on Apple Podcasts or anything like that. Maybe once we get a few more people, if I can watch, and I'll take the time to figure out how to put this on Apple or fucking Spotify. But right now, about 100 people. I doubt I'm going to take the time to figure that out. But yeah. That's all from us here this time. I am Matt Anderson. D Rose on the other side of the screen. Pig Champ is going to stay here this week. But that's all from us here at the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. We'll catch y'all next week. Peace.